Hi, everyone. Mike White here. Welcome to this week's vlog post. I want to start the conversation off today with the one thing that I think is more important than anything else I can say, and that is thank you to all the veterans. We don't think about it enough. We don't do enough about it. And the reality of the circumstances, we wouldn't have the freedoms and the luxuries that we do if it wasn't for our veterans. So I think it's very important that we just take the time and acknowledge on Veterans Day today. Thank a veteran for all that they've done and the sacrifices they have made, as well as their families. So again, to all the veterans out there, thank you from the bottom of my heart. In other news, boy, inflation data yesterday really came in hot, 6.2%. All the thought process and conversations about inflation being transitory and blah, blah, blah. Well, let's be honest, prices don't lie. Inflation is here. It's real. It's not going away. Could get worse. And as we all know, inflation is really the arch enemy of interest rates. And, we could see in the dramatic movement in the bond market yesterday that, it was shocking to the system. And with today being an off day, tomorrow being a Friday, going into a weekend, again, you have to position your mind. If you like it, lock it. There's nothing wrong with rates in the threes. But be careful, because too many loan officers play the game of people floating or selling rates that don't exist or any of this other stuff. And it really, again, locking people too short or not being prepared, because there may be a time that your locks are going to expire, and they may not be cheap to extend, and maybe not being able to extend them at all. So pay attention to the fact that you've got to be on top of your game. Give yourself room on your rate locks, because again, it's entirely possible that, rates are going to make a steady climb up, and where that goes, I'm not so sure. And neither is anybody else, for that fact. We're going to have to see it play out, but we have been talking about this for quite some time, been warning everybody about what we've seen in the inflation market and whatever. We've talked about this week in and week out. So to those of you watching this, there should be no surprise. We've warned you about this. We've told you that and shared with you strategies in order to help you move forward. And right now, get your deals in for the end of the year, because we do only have about 30 days left to get a deal in that's going to close this year. And it falls right into the fact that if you're ready to go, you can lock these loans and get them closed on time. There's still a lot of information out there that people are seeing that you're going to have to deal with, because again, a lot of people run ads and marketing campaigns that are old. How does anybody feel if they published a rate, on Tuesday afternoon, and they went through where rates were with their company and were talking to people, and those people were getting back to them this morning, only to find out that the market has moved 75 or 80 basis points in the other direction from when that loan officer spoke to them. So it's really important that we get on top of, where we are and what we're doing in the timeline. And again, the same thing with your referral partners. You've got to look into the future, stuff that's going to come in. When is it going to close? And by the way, who's working? Christmas and New Year's fall on a Saturday, which means the 24th and the 31st are a Friday. Don't know whether your company's going to be open for business. Don't know whether the title companies will be open for business. Don't know who's going to be around in those days. You may be able to use them to close your loans. You may not. But it's important for you to get out in front of that and know when the last day it is you can bring in a loan to get it closed. I also want to make you aware of something, and it's been very disturbing to me looking at social media. And again, as a coach and a trainer to people across the country, I do spend a great deal of time looking at the internet and information and stories and things that people are publishing, and it just is beyond me the amount of misinformation, stuff that actually is downright false, being presented by people, for the lack of, I don't know, better phrasing, should know better. The fact that there could be mortgage companies or loan officers or people who are quote unquote financial gurus out there who are publishing stuff, who have thousands and thousands of subscribers and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of views on information that is flat out incorrect. And so it's really important that you have resources at your disposal where you're the local expert, where you're giving people absolutely truthful information. And what I mean by this is, let's be honest, I just want to put these two facts out there. And I don't want to pick on any one person or one company or multitude of people who are making these claims. But the reality of it is, and I'm just going to say this, FYI, conforming loan limits are not set by mortgage companies. Okay, so any mortgage company out there trying to make the claim that, you know, their conforming rate is now this number, well, it's true, but they had nothing to do with it. The FHFA sets the conforming rate and rate limits, the loan limits, and it's got nothing to do with an individual broker or mortgage company or whatever. So the fact that there are a number of people out there, a number of entities out there, a number of companies out there trying to make the general public believe that they're doing something, you know, special for, you know, their clients is not true. If you're dealing with conforming loans and you're sending them into the secondary market or working with investors who are buying conforming loans, conforming loan limits are set by the FHFA. The other thing that needs to get out there, because there's a lot of stories out there right now, and I'm not going to get into the stories or take a position on the stories, but the point is, another, just for your information, Realtor.com is not owned by NAR. Say it again, Realtor.com is not owned by NAR. Realtor.com is owned by a company called Move Inc., which is a subsidiary of News Corp. Okay. And anybody can go to Google and enter in those two search criteria and find out conforming interest rates, conforming interest limits are set by the FHFA. And if you Google search key phrases, who owns Realtor.com? If you Google search who owns Realtor.com, you will see that Realtor.com is owned by Move Inc., which is a subsidiary of News Corp. So anybody attempting to rile up realtors and get them to start, you know, yelling and screaming at their representation at NAR, and again, you all know I've been not the biggest fan of the National Association of Realtors, but this time they have nothing to do with it. Okay, so anything that you're seeing out there or any people that are promoting that, you need to get ahead of the curve and know the truth. So again, you have to be the local expert. You have to know what's going on. Many times it's a simple Google search to go through the information and find out the difference between fact and fiction and what are opinions by people, okay? Because opinions are fine as long as they're opinions. I tell you, I give you my opinion all the time, and I point out things that are factual and you know, where the facts come from. And I do that because, again, I'm not trying to be a guru here. I'm trying to give people usable information and protect them from stuff that's out there that could cause them in trouble, cause them some trouble. So again, you've got to be the local expert. You got to know where to look. And as always, if you need any help or you'd like to, if you have any questions or comments or like to talk about your performance future, you just email me, Mike at imtcoaching.com, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Take care.